Okay, so the third movie in the Godzilla Millennium series, or Godzilla Mothra Ghidorah All-Out Monster Attack, which I'd say by far is one of the best titles ever. Unless, of course, other versions you see actually call it Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah All-Out Monster Attack. This one, it's so part of the Millennium series. It again takes place 50 years after the initial attack. So if you like Godzilla Millennium, there's no mention of the Godzilla attack against the giant alien spaceship. There's also no mention of Godzilla taking on Ghidorah, or being hit with a black hole gun. And they've changed the costume. It's no longer like it was from Millennium and versus Ghidorah. It's now closer to the original costume. So it looks really, really bizarre. Some of the CGI shots, especially anything in water, still do leave something to be desired. Knowing this is a movie that's roughly about a decade old now, not really super, super impressive. The main crux of this one is Godzilla's come back after being destroyed 50 years ago, and that there are guardian monsters who are going to fight Godzilla. The acting done by the main actors is very good. Anyone who is an extra is ridiculously overacting, even for a Godzilla movie. So the basis of this ends up being Godzilla versus the guardian monsters, which is Baragon, who didn't get his name in the main title. I never preferred Baragon. Out of the two that were more crawlers, I always preferred Anguirus. I thought Anguirus was ridiculously amazing, especially compared to Baragon. Baragon looks very cute, almost kind of like puppy dog-like for being a 30-meter long, essentially like mole rhinoceros hybrid. And when these two fight, like you would expect, Godzilla just destroys Baragon. And then there's the battle with Godzilla and Mothra. Mothra didn't really use the poison dust that much, but instead shot explosive stingers from her tail. They make reference to the twins that used to always help control Mothra. And then during the battle with Mothra, this is when Ghidorah shows up. Ghidorah did a pretty decent job. Ghidorah has looked a lot better, but overall not bad for a reimagined Ghidorah. And of course, during the fight between Godzilla, Ghidorah, and Mothra, you do have more humans trying to get involved. And of course, Godzilla eventually defeats Mothra, which then makes Mothra explode into a shower of ancient souls. They do a pretty decent explanation of the idea that the guardian monsters are actually like the collections of souls of people that have been killed in wars that have been forgotten. It's a pretty interesting sort of, side twist to it. And then the souls from Mothra go into Ghidorah, therefore making Ghidorah King Ghidorah, which then leads to King Ghidorah fighting Godzilla, and doing a pretty decent job. But then the humans get involved again to finally put the absolute nail in the coffin of Godzilla. And the way they defeat Godzilla is very different. They use a drill missile to essentially blow a hole from the inside out of Godzilla's shoulder, so that whenever she tries to use the radioactive breath, it just ejects out of her shoulder wound, eventually causing her to explode, leaving her beating heart in the bottom of the lake in which they were fighting. The nice thing about the first two movies of the Millennium series is that they all actually are individual and unique timelines. They actually were not designed to go in any sort of sequence. So you could watch Godzilla Millennium versus Ghidorah and entirely skip Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. And I'll be honest, those first two are actually pretty solid movies. This one, while not being really bad, was just a little bit too goofy for my taste.